Hey everyone, this is Alex Milstein. I'm the editor-in-chief of Betting News Now, and this is Bet Ed Now, bite-sized bits of betting industry knowledge. Today my guest is Bill Bush. He's the Chief Commercial Officer of Customatic Sleep Technologies. He's going to be talking to us today about the importance of innovation and technology in the betting industry. Hope you enjoy. Hi Bill, nice to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So really looking forward to talking about the importance of embracing technology and innovation today. So tell me a little bit about why you feel it is important to embrace new technologies, even, when some people are a little bit unsure of them.
That's a great question, Alex. I mean, I think just overall, technology really it's everywhere, right? In society and pretty much every application you can think of, whether it's your house or your appliances or your automobile, or if you work out and you're trying to manage your performance. So it
Hmm.
makes total sense that it would follow into health and wellness as it relates to getting a good night's sleep and just being your best. So, I still think we're still kind of at the beginning part of that journey, but certainly over the last several years, there's been a variety of innovations to help people kind of get the best night's sleep they can, to layer in, some of this innovation just to be, the best they can be.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of interesting. I've spoken to a couple of people in the industry who have kind of shown light on the disconnect between brands and retailers in the mattress industry and consumers, where consumers, they actually expect technology these days.
Yeah.
And, like I was just saying, there are some people on the mattress side, I think more so on the retailer side than manufacturer, but still some manufacturers who, they just haven't quite picked up that tech edge yet. Have you noticed that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of research.
Hmm.
And so certainly the consumer awareness really across generations, right? If you're looking at different generations, they definitely all have a much higher level of understanding of how well, let's say, a good night's sleep impacts their life, the wellness aspect of it. And so, yes, I think the expectation is there that these products will kind of follow suit like other products have, whether it's athletic gear or, like we said, simple things like appliances or automobile or you name it. Look at what your phone can do now. So, yeah, I do think there's a level of expectation. And I think some of that's kind of supported by the fact that some of the way the consumer buying trends are changing. Consumers, particularly newer to market consumers, they buy a lot more bundled, meaning they might buy, let's say, a mattress with an adjustable base, with a pillow, with a sleep application. They buy in bundles more than other generations have in the past, where they just might buy, a piece of the sleep system. So, yeah, I do believe the consumers are speaking that way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the bundle, it kind of makes sense, and that's kind of the goal of a lot of, retailers is to bundle these things together. Now, I think, with technology and just the vast amount of it out there in the betting industry, do you think that there's a way to kind of separate the technologies that are maybe just a fad from the technologies that have lasting staying power, rather?
That's a good question. I guess, I don't know if there's, let's say, a scientific method, but, the way that we do it when we're looking how to modify or advance our product portfolio is just, again, how much will this element, let's call it an element of the sleep system, how much will it really assist the end user in getting that good night's sleep? Or let's say even adjusting what their needs would be, giving them more varieties, because let's face it, sometimes our needs change, whether as we age or go through life, or, whether it's through physical adjustment or you name it, right? There's different variables that would cause even your sleep environment, sleep position to alter, from one day to the next. So, yeah, I mean, I think the way to kind of get to your question is, does it really, at the end of the day, does it help the consumer get a better or needed night's sleep versus if it didn't? If it's just maybe some data output and not real comfort or support or whatever, then,
Yeah.
maybe that's something that's nice, but it doesn't really impact, let's say, that immediate need for a good night's sleep.
Yeah. I think, I've seen a lot of sleep apps popping up, and, I think some of them probably are useful, but those kind of seem like technologies where I don't know if they necessarily help the person, in the same way that a bed, with a built-in sleep tracker might help them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty interesting time right now, the different types of technology that's out there. And I know that you know a lot about this because Customatic is very, very technology focused. So, it's a good time to be in the industry. You were saying a little bit earlier that it's kind of just starting, technology is just starting to pick up in the industry. Do you think that that's going to be a 5-year progression, a 10-year progression, or maybe even shorter, like a 2-year progression? What kind of adoption rate do you think the industry is going for right now?
I mean, I think it's been in place for, let's say, at least 4 to 5 years now, right? But it depends on the advancements. It depends upon the accessibility of those advancements to the consumer, right? So there's a balance between the benefit of what the product's offering or the technology versus the cost of it. If the cost is out of reach or seen to not be a value, then it'd be slow to adapt. If it's within reason or a moderate amount, then yes, I think it could be quickly adapted. I think it just depends, right? People are budget conscious, so they're always going to try to get the best value for their money. So I think it really depends on the price point and the benefit combination of the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know this will sound a little bit different from the topic we've been chatting about, but you can also focus on, let's call it, the technology or the experience at the point of sale. And that's an area where I still think that a lot of advancement can be made.
Hmm.
It's also helping the consumer and the retailer find a comfortable environment, if you will, to demonstrate and articulate those benefits. That's something I know that we spend a lot of time, right? It's not so much you can have a product, you can have its feature benefits, but
Hmm.
if you can't really communicate that in a consistent way to the consumer, then that's another way that it doesn't get adapted quickly. So I do also think that the point of sale and that interaction, I think there's a lot of advancements still to be made there because that's really where the rubber hits the road, right? The consumer's experiencing the product. And if you can make that kind of a more impactful, educational, but even more relaxed experience, then I think that also helps quite a bit.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Now, are there any things that you, or I guess any advice that you guys give to your retailers when it comes to that point of sale presentation?
Yeah, I mean, you still want to kind of keep it simple. Bedding is still, for the most part, it's not really a want purchase. It's more than not a need purchase. And if you can keep it where the consumer is really engaged and maybe there's an experience tied to it, I think that really makes it a lot more fun. And I think the results end up being a lot better. If they're kind of immersed in an experience, which are things that we specifically work on, kind of letting them be immersed in the experience of what could be.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Cool.
Okay, very good. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Bill.
You bet. It's my pleasure. Anytime.
Yeah, it's great talking to you.